I'm ready.
Hey, YouTube. This is Eric Castro with you live. We got Fonz, aka Dr. Ozo, on the line here, and on that first episode 4, part 1, Fonz really getting raw and telling us a little bit about himself and how what the last year has looked like for him since he has decided to uh, uh, become a full-time entrepreneur and really pursue his dreams. So, Fonz, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, buddy. So the last thing that I remember you talking about was now you have now gone to work up north after getting laid off. So tell us about that.
So again, as far as being at the place of business where I was at, I'm handling my business. I'm taking care of the situation at home and those things, and those things are really nasty and difficult, because I'm still taking care of the family. I'm still doing those things. Those are my responsibilities, right?
Right.
So I'm not shying away from them. And anything, I'm taking care of everything I'm supposed to, and trying to make everybody happy, right? And the whole thing is that I'm at the place where I'm working, and they needed a lot of help. And like any business, right? Being that I had already owned a couple of businesses before, we always need good help, right?
Right.
And so it goes back and forth. If you're going to be a business owner, well, be a business owner, but you need good employees. And so if you're going to be an employee, be a good employee, right?
Yeah. So during that time, I was your good employee. I had went out there and I had helped you out, and now it's actually part of my dream. Doing coaching and marketing, and all around just doing that type of work. So it's already fallen into the line of what I was already getting myself into at that point. So I'm meeting Fonzie right here. He's needing some help, and I go and I'm over there doing what I can to help him out in any way I can, as he's trying to start out as a business owner.
Right. And we should definitely have a conversation on the coaching side of things and what happened there, right? And I think that's going to be a really nice topic to have, because while I'm going through these things, right? Yes, absolutely. You stepped in and you helped out, and again, you were already starting to do what it was. You started the I Am the Change Foundation. You had started doing all these things already. And so it just kind of shows the dynamic of what people are going through in their lives. Some people are going through one thing, some things, and other people are going through other things. But if we are on the same page, then we still have an ability to continue forward like we are right now, right? Because at this point in my life, I have eliminated everybody and everything that was negative in my life. And so that's a hard thing to do, right?
Again, I'm on the same boat. Right now, I talk to maybe about 4 people regularly, and Fonz being one of them, and my parents being 2 and 3.
Absolutely. And so, it's a nice option to have. I wasn't given that option. Things really hit the fan while I was gone. People were creating things against me while I was gone, and it took me by surprise. And so I get a phone call. I'm doing business up there, and just to point out, and it's not tooting my own horn, but it's just, when someone wants to be successful, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You can be successful at wherever you're at, if you want to be successful. And so just within the 2-3 months that I was there, we were able to bring up the capital on their side, on the business side of what the reason that they hired me. they went from a $10,000, $20,000 um, um, cycle to $1 million within the 3 months of just being there for them and bringing that up for them. And so when I left, the day I got the phone call, I it sucked because I had to say bye to them. I didn't want to say bye to them, but I did a lot of good things while I was there. Being that I was in the car business, I was able to help them acquire 2 vehicles at a very good price because being that we were in the car business, we know how things work. And so we were able to help them out do that. They were able to get those 2 vehicles, and then again the work itself. But
you were able to take enough work off of their hands, so they can focus on what their true job was.
What their job was, absolutely, and that was running the business. That was running their business, absolutely. They were a family-owned business, and they were just growing too. And so it was great to have that opportunity to help others that are just like you and I, right? Getting started, because people need it. When you're getting to a point where it's growth. I was one of the first employees that they hired that was out of the family. Everybody else was family, uncles and cousins and brothers and sisters. Everybody else was family. I was one of the first ones that they hired that wasn't part of the family. And so it was great. While I was there, they ended up hiring 3 other people to be able to sustain the area that we were working in. It was great. It was just a great opportunity to help those people out. And so while I was helping them out, obviously I was getting paid for it. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, but I was getting paid for what I knew how to do. And so
you're properly getting compensated for your time.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, again, it goes back to, what's the problem? Is the success the problem? Am I the problem? Or am I the problem, but I just don't want to face the problem, right? And that's the bottom line. I didn't want to face the situation back home. I'm trying to fix it with money, and you can't fix problems with money all the time. It just doesn't matter how much money you make, how much money you have. There's certain things you just can't fix with money. And so the inevitable happened. I tried to have one final conversation with the woman that I had spent 8 years of my life with already, and trying to make sure that the mistake wasn't being made on an emotional level. It was being made on a fair playing ground as far as why the things that were happening and why we got to this point, and just trying to have those conversations, but it just wasn't happening. When you have a person that's in an emotional state and can't get out of an emotional state, there's just nothing you can do. There's just, when you're dealing with people with emotions and they have no emotional discipline, it's just really difficult. And
let me stop you right there. So you tried something by like making that last stand and trying one more time. Now let's go on the flip coin, because there's only two options at that point. You had narrowed it all down, and you thought it was emotional. Now, if you can go back to that certain point where you flipped that coin and you took one road instead of the other, how do you think that would have changed if you would have moved down that other road?
I don't think anything would have. The only difference would be that I would probably still be fighting. I would still be struggling with people that just are not happy with them. They're just not happy. What
I'm really getting at is that their unhappiness had nothing to do with you at that point. Nothing.
No, their unhappiness was an internal thing. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Being a holistic health professional, it's like it's crazy because they say it's like a construction person, right? When you have a construction man and he goes and he builds other people's homes and they look beautiful, but then you go to his house and his house is all jacked up. Well, that's kind of like what happens with people like ourselves, where I'm a therapist, but I just couldn't seem to figure out how to get this person, you know, into a state of happiness. But you just can't. It just goes to the point. You can't make people change. You just can't. People change because they want to change.
Mm-hmm.
Our focus is not to try to change anybody. Our focus is to try to give you the information that we have, that we're living with, and understanding that you have to stand up for yourself and understand that if you're changing and the people around you are not changing with you, then you need to make a decision, a raw decision, and it hurts. It hurts. I haven't seen my daughter in almost a year. I haven't seen my kids in almost a year. You know, I haven't seen my family in almost a year. And so I made that decision. I made the decision. It was a tough decision. I had to make the decision. I needed to see if it was me or if it was me. Does that make sense?
So it was you.
It's always going to be you. It's always going to be me. It's always going to be that person in the mirror. It's always going to be us. We can't blame nobody else.
I love what you're saying there, Fonz. You're really taking responsibility for everything. And then you're like, okay, so now that I take responsibility for everything, I can't blame anybody anymore. So
no.
Where does that leave Eric? Where does that leave Fonzie? You know, I got to look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, okay, so now you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Where are you at right now? We'll get back to the story later, but where are you at right now? I mean, or at that point, you know, like if you want to keep it chronological.
Well, you know, it's so I make a decision. I ended up just closing all doors and just, you know, going into seclusion. I don't know if I recommend this for everybody, but you know, the Bible has something to say about it. Sometimes you just gotta go. You just gotta go. You just gotta go and spend time with yourself. You know, and what I'm saying is this: I left my house. I still had my house. I left my house. I left my family. I left everything. And I just put it in God's hands. I said, Lord, you know what? You know what's best for me. I know that the birds of the air have food. I know that I'm not supposed to worry about anything. Just take me where I need to go. Send me where I need to go. And so I end up getting to a place where I have no phone at the time. I have no internet. I have nothing. I'm just in this cabin, and I'm just in this cabin, and it's just me. There's nobody else around. There's nobody else for miles around me, and I have to fend for myself.
Vision quest.
There isn't going to the store and getting food. There's food. There's cans and stuff that I was you know, given by the church and stuff. Those things that help me out, and I'm just sitting in this place, just dealing with myself. And man, I could have filled up buckets with how much I cried. You know, just everything that I was dealing with, all my failures, all my successes, all my what ifs, feeling sorry for myself, going through the motion. See, we have to go through the emotions. We have to go through them. We have to go through what we're feeling. And because that's the only way that we're going to get over them. We're not going to get over them if we ignore it. It's like that piece of trash. You can walk by the piece of trash, you know, and I'll say it even better. It's like when you walk by a piece of shit that a dog left in front of your yard. You walk by the piece of shit that the dog left in front of your yard. It's not going to go away unless you deal with it. You can walk away from it. It's just going to dry up and it's just going to stay there. And so the thing is that I had to deal with all those things. And so I dealt with feeling sorry for myself. I dealt with being angry. I dealt with being angry. I dealt with wanting to fight. I dealt with all these emotions that I was going through. I dealt with all my emotions. Everything that I didn't want to deal with. I had to deal with them day in and day out. I didn't have a phone call to make. I couldn't call my mom. Nothing. It was just me and the Lord. Me and the Lord. And so I read and I prayed and I read and I prayed and I read and I prayed. And God took me out. He took me out. He showed me that no matter what, Fonz, no matter what, I love you. And see, that's when I realized that only one truly loves us. Only one. And this is what I'm saying. Doesn't mean that my mom doesn't love me. Doesn't mean that my dad doesn't love me. But when it's all said and done, when you're facing your fears, you're facing death, you're facing you're facing destruction in the face, only God is there for you. It's you and your Creator. And your Creator will never let you down. 100%. You can tell me you don't believe in it. You can tell me, I'm not that kind of a religious person. You can go fuck yourself with that shit, because the reality is, when you're dealing with the real deal shit, you ain't that badass. Nobody is. None of us are hardcore where we can just say, I can do this on my own. Bullshit.
We all need help.
All need help.
You know, and even we're talking to the guys that have never even had a fist fight in their life, and you're expecting them to go up to some shit, and they just ain't ready. Like, if you've never been hit in the face, then you ain't tough enough to handle part of the shit that this man has handled, that I know of. Being in the military, I've had to face some shit. Being in the fire department, I've had to face some shit. But there ain't nothing like, being a man, I guess it's just a little bit different mentality. But like, death is one thing, but I mean that emotional death, that's a completely other. And that's the stuff I think that you're trying to come at me with, right? That's what you're trying to explain.
And that's the thing, is that people will point fingers at us, right, and tell you, and it's like, I got hit I got hit from all different angles. I was being attacked. Spiritually, I was being attacked because my choice was to walk with God. And people talk about this all the time. It's like, when you make a decision to walk with the Lord, it doesn't mean that it's a ticket out. It's not a ticket out. It's a ticket in. It's a ticket in. You're walking with the Lord, and the Lord tells us the foxes have dens, and then the holes, where to hide, and those things. It's just, and I'm misquoting it a little bit there, but the whole thing is that the reality is, we only have salvation. And we're only going to see grace through the Lord. And He covers all of our sins. He covers all of our mistakes. And this is what I'm saying. He covers all of our mistakes, meaning that it's okay, son, you made these mistakes. But what are you going to do now? Don't dwell on the mistakes. I'm covering the mistakes. Stop worrying about what other people are telling you. Stop worrying about all the shit that people are saying. You can be a pervert. You can be a sexually misconducted person. You can be a murderer. You can be a rapist. You can be all things. The Bible tells us very simple. If we are guilty of one, so that means if you're guilty of being an adulterer, you're also guilty of being a murderer. So why are you pointing fingers at me? This goes for everybody. The world will always point fingers, acting like their shit doesn't stink, but their shit is probably just as bad as yours, if not worse. So why are we worried about what other people think? Why are we worried about what other people are thinking about us? It doesn't fucking matter, because the only thing that matters is what God has given you to do. Even if I'm speaking in the tongue that I'm speaking in right now, how better for me to get the point across by being all things to all people? This is the truth. Now I'm on fucking fire. I'm on fire because it's the truth.
Okay, so now
Nobody can pull you out.
Right. So now, we got you a little fired up, and we like that. So now I'm going to hit you with another question. So you got passed through all that stuff, but how did you do it? What was your routine like? What did you need to really pick up? Did you have to like wash your ass? Did you have to like shave your head? I mean, like what did you have to do to get out of that mentality and into that killer mindset that I've seen you in probably the last 2 months? What that killer instinct, okay? So now you're healed up and you licked your wounds. Now, how did you heal up? How did you lick your wounds? Okay, so the cabin. Now, when you started peeking out of the cabin and you started going outside and you started like really, getting back out there, what would that process look like? What did you have to do? Did you have to fight? Did you have to claw? Did you have to like punk people? What's up?
I tell you what, man, it goes back to my nature. I didn't want anybody else to pay for the shit that this is what happens in our culture. In bad relationships, right? We make other people pay for our previous bad relationship. We make other people pay for other shit that nobody has any. It's not their fault. It's not their fault, everything that I went through. It's nobody's fault. And so I started practicing when I go out, I started being myself, practicing being myself.
The best version of yourself at all times.
I'm the one that says, hey, good morning, if it's morning. Hey, good afternoon, if it's afternoon. Hey, good evening or good night. I'm that person. If I'm at the store and I'm buying something and I see someone that needs help with something, I'll hey, how's it going? People just look at you like you're crazy. I don't care. I stopped caring about that. This is just who I am. I'm not doing it because I'm asking you for money. I'm just helping you out. You need help putting groceries inside? I see that you're 1,000 years old. Let me just help you put the groceries in your car. It's no big deal. I mean, I know that other people will do shit like that and they put their hand out to get a fucking handout. I'm not looking for a handout. This is who I am. And so I started practicing being me.
Saying hi to people at the check register, just being friendly again and just
Absolutely.
and being the best version of yourself.
Absolutely, 100%.
You're the good guy. You're the good guy. I've been saying it for the last couple of days. You're the good guy. Okay, so what does that look like?
I couldn't believe that I was afraid to say hi to somebody again. I was like
you're afraid of being the good guy. That's what this world is conditioning us to be afraid of. To be afraid of our true selves and helping somebody out, without expecting something in return.
And I just practiced it day in and day out. The family that I was living with, I ended up moving in with the family that took me in, and it's just great. I've been blessed in that area. And so I moved in with this family, and I was like, you know what? You guys have everything, all the ingredients here to do the things that you guys can do. I still had a little bit of money. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to invest in them. I don't care. The money doesn't matter to me. They have me here. I'm being fed and all those things. Let me just invest in them. And, hopefully it turns out to be something good, And so I invested and I helped them actually build a business, right? And in 3 short months, they were doubling the amount of income that was coming in on 3 incomes.
Wow.
In 3 months. And I can't tell you how negative they weren't. They were so negative.
And Fonz, that's becoming a pattern I see, of helping people out and their income, going up right away. You said you had helped that other construction people, and then all of a sudden, you're the good help and they blow up. Okay, great. So you had to set back and you had to start over again, and then again, you help out this person and and you built them up. So that's becoming a pattern for you. I see that. I notice that. I understand that. That's what you're doing. That's why you're working so hard. That's why you do the things that you do.
I don't want to see anybody down. I know what it's like to be down. I know what it's like not to have a dollar in your pocket. I've been living like that for the last 4 or 5 months. I haven't made a dollar in 5 or 6 months now. I left that family. And I'm with another family right now, right? And it goes back to the same thing. People just don't see the blessing. People want everything to be done for them. Nobody wants to do anything for themselves. And so it's like, okay, but what's going to happen when I leave? Because I can't be here forever. I got to return to my family at some point, right? I'm just on a journey right now. I'm on God's time right now. God is giving me the blessing to do what are the things that I'm doing, right? And He's giving me the opportunity, and He's giving me the favor. He's showing me that I have favor in it. And so each time that I go somewhere, and it's like, well, when are you going to stop? Well, when I close my eyes for the last time. I'm not counting the time. It's like, when you're a virgin or something, or you're first having sex, you're like, oh man, I've had sex twice, 3 times. It's like, I'm not new in that area. It's like, I'm not counting how many times. It doesn't matter to me. This is who I am. This is what I was sent to do. And so it's just a matter of finding the right people, though. And see, this is where I made the mistake. And see, and God talks about this. God tells us in the Bible. He's very clear. Don't feed your pearls to swine. And for a long time, I didn't understand what that meant. And it's like, because, if someone asks for your cloak, then you give them your cloak. And then if someone asks you to walk a mile, you walk the second mile with them, And it's like, okay, well, I don't understand this, Lord. It's like you're trying to figure this out, because it's like, when one, area you're saying this and this. And it just means don't stop being you. Just because someone didn't accept it, right? It's like, so at this point, I'm helping this family out, right? But then I'm seeing what's happening, how this family is getting around money all of a sudden. They're just getting really weird around money, which happens to all of us when we first start coming into money and we don't understand what to do with it. And they started getting really weird, and I'm like, all right, well, you know what? It's time for me to leave. And hopefully when I come back, you guys are still going, because I'd like to come back, and I'd like to see at least 10% back revenue, right? And so then I leave, right? And I go back, and what was being done? Absolutely nothing.
You were doing the work again.
I was doing the work, exactly.
All by yourself.
And I'm like, okay, I know I can do it. I'm not questioning whether I can do it. It's not a question of whether I can do it or not.
So again, it goes around to your surroundings again. Okay, so
right. And
you found yourself now. Okay, so are you present right now? Is that what you're talking about? Like, this is like presently what's going on, or this is in the past?
I'm absolutely 100% present. I'm absolutely 100% present. Why am I going to give to others what I should be giving to myself?
Okay, so now you started giving yourself, and where did it lead you? I mean, like, and be super raw about this, because I'm trying to make a point. Like, you started being the best version of yourself. I mean, like, what were those steps? What were the things you were actually putting into your day every single day? Like, what time did you set yourself up on a schedule? What time were you getting up? What time were you going to bed? Were you washing your teeth, like extra? Were you going to the gym? Were you, like walking? Like, what were you doing? What does your day look like that you're now feeling the best you've ever felt before?
So now I'm like, all right. I'm like, now it's my time. I've put in the work for everybody. I've tried to do what I can, and it goes back to the same thing. I need to focus on me. I need to do it for myself now. And so I'm like, all right, well, shit. I was in a new place, because I've always felt selfish when I'm thinking about myself. And I've always felt selfish because I'm thinking like, well, but these people need this. And that, I hadn't been in this spot in probably over a decade. And I was like, this is new. I was like, this is cool. I'm like, this feels good. And so I'm like, and I'm setting up schedules, just like I used to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning for work. I'm setting up my schedule at 3:45 in the morning so I can get my ass up and I get into the Word, right? This is my lifestyle. Anybody can choose whatever they want.
Okay, and speaking of the Word right now, Fonz, I just got something from the Bible app, and I'm just going to mention it real quick while we're here, and see what it had to say. It says, "Be still and know that I am God. So what does that say to you right now, since that word just came across? What does that mean to you? Be still, for I am God.
And so that's exactly what. And this is the thing. We become busy bees. We become so busy at being busy that we don't stop and listen to God. And God's like, look, I got you, man. Stop worrying about this. Stop worrying about that. Just look at yourself in the mirror and do for you what you want to see done unto others.
Okay, so what were those things that you're doing? Now that God talked to you, what were those things that he wants you to do, or that you're already doing, and he says keep doing that shit?
So, again, I set myself up on schedules. I'm setting myself up. I wake up, I listen to the word. I praise and worship in the morning. I thank God first thing every day in the morning. I'm eating right. I'm eating breakfast, at the time that I'm eating before I go work out. I'm setting up a workout schedule. I'm going to the gym. I'm hitting the gym like I'm supposed to. I'm doing my workout. I weighed 275 pounds before I started this journey. 275 pounds. I've lost 75 pounds. I haven't had to be on a diet. I didn't take all these supplements. I didn't do any of that. I decided to take care of myself.
Like a detox.
Yes, but it doesn't mean that I decided to put my $80,000 education to practice as a holistic health practitioner. Instead of worrying about helping others, I said, I'm going to put the $80,000 back into myself, and I'm going to take care of myself. Everything that I knew what to do, to tell others how to do it, that goes back to that fat fuck I was telling you about. It's going back to me.
Applying yourself. Okay,
yes, applying everything that I'm telling others, applying it to myself.
And that's exactly what I wanted to get to right there, Fonz. I'm really glad that you got to that point. Now we're to the point where we've done the work to get to where to our baseline. We've done the work to get to our baseline. We're like, okay, cool. I don't have these monkeys on my back anymore. I'm not weighed down by anything anymore. Now I'm free. I got all this energy. I met God and he's on my side now, right? So now what do I do with all this? What am I going to do? I'm excited. I'm excited to get back out there and excited to start doing new things again. I mean, are you on the same boat as I am right now?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I tell you what, all of a sudden my creativity level went up. All of a sudden
you're making a YouTube channel. Am I right?
Dude, right. What did it take? Just within the last couple of days?
Yeah. This is something we've been working on for over a year now, and we have proof in the pudding by those first episodes that we did a year ago.
Right.
This is still the same season, baby.
We were already successful in that area. We were applying it in the wrong areas, and that's the truth. You start applying the information that you have in the wrong areas, and so here it's like you have a choice. You have a choice to click on our channel. You have a choice to listen to the shit that we're talking, and it's like, oh, well, maybe we should talk to these guys. Maybe we should stick around these guys. It's like my mom used to tell me, be careful of the friends that you pick, right? Well, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna give them a quick lowdown, and you tell me where you are. Just bounce everything right back off of me. So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm out here to get after it. I don't play by society's normal rules. I like to sell products, and I'm just gonna be myself. I got a big beard. I like long hair. I'm Native American, and I'm starting my tribe. I'm starting a tribe of people just like me, and we can all get together, be creative, and make something beautiful from absolutely nothing, using our personalities and what we have around us. That's where I'm getting at right now. So after me saying that, Fonz, like what kind of page do you find yourself on? Are you in this tribe, or are you trying to make your own tribe, or what's going on with you, man?
And so it goes back to unity, and unity, right? A community of like-minded people. And that's exactly the same page. It's a community of like-minded people. We're not always going to agree. How many times don't we agree with each other in the day?
Man, there's too many times that I can't count.
Right? But it's a community of like-minded people, not robots, not yes men and yes girls. No, it's oh shit. But I'm looking at it this way. That's cool. Let's figure that shit out. If that's what you think, let's figure it out. Let's see. Let's see what successes you can make out of that, or what mistakes you're going to make, and then great. You need to make mistakes. So yes, community of like-minded people. Absolutely, 100%. I am the change that I want to see in the world.
Boom. And again, we'll talk more about this later, but I have a company. It's called I Am the Change Foundation that we'll be speaking a little bit more on. But I think that's all the time that we got for this session. Fonz, thanks again. We got your pretty much your whole full story from that year ago to the present. And thanks, YouTubers.
Absolutely. Appreciate the time again.
Thanks, man.